So you see, I get like 6 or 7 shots off. I don't hit anything. I realize I
no, he hit every single shot. He's cheating. This guy is a cheater. What's good, y'all? So for today's video, we got 20 advanced tips by IceManIsaac. That's what we're going to be watching. That's what we're going to be reacting to. He says he got 20 advanced tips that we don't know about that's on Warzone. So we're going to see if he's fibbing or if he's telling the truth. And if you enjoy the content, if you want me to make more videos like this, you already know what to do. It's your boy, the myth, the legend, the man with 3,000 hands, aka Ugly Boy 3000. I'm not going to waste no more time. Let's get straight to the video.
I'm going to show you 12 extremely advanced Warzone tips that you need to know about. These aren't your basic tips and tricks. These are the pro secrets that they don't want you to know about.
All right, let's go. Pro secrets that they don't want you to know about. This video is like 20 minutes. I don't know if we're going to watch the whole one. We getting straight into the video.
They want to use them against you. Well, don't fall behind. We're going to start with number 1 and go all the way up to number 12. Each one getting a little bit more advanced as we go. Starting with number 1. We all know one of the best ways to move across the map is the redeploy balloon. But oftentimes we're using the redeploy balloon to finesse, and we want to get away from people who are chasing us. Well, what a lot of players have started doing is shooting the redeploy balloon as you ascend up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right,
I didn't know that. That's a good one.
Get the full boost off the redeploy balloon and cause it to fall so no one can chase you.
What? Okay, hey, this is a good video because the first tip, even if I didn't learn nothing, this first tip, I learned that. I didn't know I should do that. Now I know.
This is an amazing way as you move across the map. If you're the last one on your team to go, or if you're solo, the way that I figured out to time it best for me is once my center dot hits the perimeter of that redeploy balloon.
Okay, I seen it.
Full auto spraying.
I seen it.
To kind of get the timing down, it's obviously going to depend on what gun that you have, but even if you end up shooting it out early, depending on the situation you're in.
All right, so you got to make sure that you reload because, look, he only has 29 bullets. You got to make sure you reload before you start going up.
You're still going to be able to be at a
very high enough for one kill.
Shoot and glide away. Now, obviously, if you shoot it too soon and you miss the boost, you might risk it and get shot by the people down below you. But in general, this is a great tip to build space against people who are chasing you down. That is tip number 1.
Reload.
Let's move on to advanced tip number 2. But first, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
Moving on to advanced tip number 2. It also has to do with the redeploy balloons.
Number 2.
I want you to start using them in a different way. So many people are using them like I would in this situation, whether you're rotating across the map or for me, I'm taking a high ground. I pop an airstrike on this guy, I land on him as he's distracted, and now I've retaken one of the best high grounds in the game. Start using your redeploy balloons aggressively.
All right, so look, for number 2, that's not a good tip. I gotta say, who doesn't use the redeploy balloons? If you play the game, you use them, dog. What is that?
On your
the
way
first
out,
tip
like
was good though.
Tip 1,
yeah, I mean,
that is advanced tip.
But this is a 20-minute video. They gotta get better from a mistake, dog.
Advanced tip number 3. We had talked about this in a previous video, but it only works in duos, trios, and quads. So we talked about how the land together bonus is back. And if you combine that with a hot drop, you can then get the supply box UAV ping.
Land together bonus. I did not know they had that.
Is on the map. I saw some people a little bit confused in the comments. You do the land together bonus on a hot drop area, and I'll zoom in on the radar. You look for that red crate.
The red crate
is your favorite loadout. But in solo, which I play a lot of, try advanced tip number 4. Instead of searching around for that loadout crate, and especially since money is so slow inside of solos and you can't get the land together bonus, try buying a supply box UAV. I never thought I'd hear myself say this until they brought about the
$4,000. $4,000 for a loadout, because then you can see where it's at on the map. And you know what I mean? Buy the thing, bro.
You see, I land inside of Superstore. I collect a measly $2,000. I buy the supply box UAV, and then I can make a beeline towards the advanced or the loadout crate. So now I'm able to sprint through all of Superstore, having my Superior, having my STG or my static, and it's just so dang easy. So tip number 3, make sure to use the land together plus a hot drop for a quick loadout crate. If you're in solos, tip number 4, buy the supply box UAV because it will lead you right towards a loadout crate. Moving on to advanced tip number 5, we're actually going to cover a few really obnoxious bugs inside of the game and how to quickly fix them. The very first one kind of brings us back to Superstore. Advanced tip number 5 is make sure, do not throw your loadout on top of the glass
we know this, bro. We know this. This one's probably going to get skipped too, dog. My bad, bro.
Extremely frustrating.
We know this, man.
The way you fix this
if you play the game,
by spam shooting it. Spam shoot the top left. How frustrating it is to sit here and listen to this sound when your loadout is just completely bugging out on top of the triangle. Moving on to advanced tip number 6, it's another bug inside of the game that drives me crazy. If you're an aggressive player, you've likely landed in on an enemy and then just noticed your HUD, your heads up display, completely disappeared. You can't see how many lethals, tacticals, smoke, ammo, anything.
I see you.
Down
I
below
see
in
it.
your bottom right, and sometimes you lose other aspects of your HUD as well. This oftentimes happens when you pull your chute right next to mantling on something. The way you quickly fix it, if you ever
one thing they're not going to tell you about, because it's your boy, remember my name, is when you go to interrogate somebody and they back out of the game, you can't use your weapons, you can't use your gun, you can't use anything. He's not going to tell you about that. Tip number, they don't tell you. I'm not going to tell you the number, but just know that it's a tip.
Been in this situation before, is to go ahead and jump by anywhere and just pull your chute again. If you pull your chute again, it'll reset your HUD and it'll allow you to see everything that you've had. It's a super frustrating glitch. If you've ever had it happen, that's the way you fix it. They fortunately have patched some of the other ones. There was one where you would just get stuck in a plating loop where you just be throwing in plates over and over and over again. I'm pretty sure they've patched that. But if you do run into that again, the way you fix that glitch is to start climbing up a ladder, and then that will fix the unlimited plate glitch.
Hey,
we are now.
Don't ask me how to fix the glitch. Oh, I do actually. Wait up, I do know how to fix it. You know what you got to do? You got to go interrogate somebody else, bro.
Heading into the second half, and this is where things get really crazy with advanced pro strats, and then even
you have to finish the interrogation. Actually, that's how you finish it.
Some movement exploits as
on
well.
A new person.
Moving on to advanced tip number 7. You can see through smokes.
7.
Not with thermals, not with combat scout, not with live pings, but actually underwater. If you did not realize, you can actually use smokes in a pretty devious way to take care of enemies who may be holding you. So you'll see in this scenario here, I've got a full team that's trying to hold me up inside of this building up here. You can kind of see his outline up here. I'd already seen him beforehand trying to hold us. What you can do is you can throw a smoke, live ping someone, and underwater you can see and ping perfectly. But once you get above water, obviously you're completely masked. They can't see you. So all you need to do is start shooting where you last live pinged, and I've gotten dozens of knocks using this in the past. You'll see here, my teammates are live pinging that guy. I see him rechow up on the top left. I throw my smoke. I didn't throw my smoke in time, so he started getting some shots.
I don't know about this tip, dog. Like,
I pop up. I have no visibility.
Hey, I thought this tip was gonna be a lot better than that, bro. It's for number 7. We thought this tip was gonna be better, dog. That's it. That's cool. You didn't. He's just trying to make it 20 tips. You know what I mean? I feel him. I feel it. I feel it.
Advantage into the
good
fight.
tip, dog.
That is an advanced tip that I don't see a lot of people using. If you're getting held in the water, smoke yourself, dip below the water, live ping, because when you're underwater, you can only shoot your pistol. So that would work. If you were underwater, you could shoot your pistol, but I don't think it's as effective. Use that. Get up with your rifle and then shoot through with a fully powered gun while live pinged. You can see here, it's a cheesy strat, but it definitely could work out in your favor. That's not the best clip, but I've used it in the past to get multiple downs, to get out of bad situations. Bro. And that is advanced tip.
We understand.
For advanced tip number 8, we're actually going to take a little bit of a history lesson because it cross applies perfectly to what I'm talking about.
I did not come here for no history, dog.
Advanced systems to
I'll just play. I feel you. It's military.
Location.
Teach me something, bro.
You're able to track and turn your artillery to match with the airplane's location, right? Because let's say the airplane is here, but you have this wall of death that you have to get through in order to get to your target. And so the exact same thing can be cross-applied into Warzone for what I would consider curtain fire. So here in this situation, I have no idea where this enemy is. I come out of this angle, and you'll see, I see the smoke go off over here. And then I see another smoke go off here. So I know his path is heading left to right.
Bro.
But I can't see him. I have no idea where he's at. So what I decided to do is, since he's most likely, we had already wiped most of his team. We knew he was running out.
Yeah, and you got an LMG with
viable route
60 bullets, bro.
In that stairway
so
right
you just
there.
Should spray.
So what I'm going to
All right, look, let me speed it up here. He's just gonna spray until the enemy has to run that way, or he could hop on the wall and jump over the wall. But he's just gonna spray in that direction right there. Wow, he's gonna have to go that way. Or if he's gonna run this way, he's gonna have to spray that way. You know what I mean? It is what it is, bro. Speed it up here, Buckaroo.
And fire shots at a set location and wait for him to
speed it up, Buckaroo.
So you see, I get like 6 or 7 shots off. I don't hit anything. I realize I get
no,
hit
he hit every single shot. He's cheating. This guy is a cheater.
Kill, but it's something that I commonly use, especially with sniping. Another example right here
just proved everything. I'll just play.
This guy's below me. I start taking my shots.
Look, there he goes again. There he goes again.
I have no idea where he is, but
he sees him
nearest piece of cover
with his cheats.
This doorway right here. So that's obviously more than likely where he's going to go. So what do? I push forward. I'm using mouse and keys, so I don't have any aim assist here. I snap my aim towards that piece of cover. I don't get. All right,
bro. Speed it up with these tips.
Eventually,
we need the tips right now.
Free fire that location, and it's a common thing. Especially, I have a full sniper dedicated video here in the future, but one thing that I mentioned is
we don't need it.
Enemy soldier.
We don't need a full video dedicated to this, bro.
They're known safe locations because everyone tries to get a little bit mixy, a little bit unpredictable, but the second they get towards that piece of cover, they drop everything and run in a straight line.
The homie was getting mixy right now.
So what's this guy gonna do? Run in a straight line.
The homie was about to juke me, dog.
A lot of people wonder, like, how did you know he was there in the smoke? I didn't. I missed 10 shots, and then he ran into my bullets. I got a hit marker, and then I chased him. So that's an advanced tip that I think you guys should be using inside of your game. For advanced tip number 9,
all right, finally, number 9, advanced tip number 9. You've likely
seen this ending before. It's where the end circle follows a train and continues along its path. And oftentimes, it's whoever gets the best positioning and whoever gets the train first is the one that wins the game. And you can find out early before that big animation pops up on your screen that it's a runaway train event. It actually has to do with when the gulag closes. If you know, in a regular game,
okay, good tip, good information, bro. This is if you played a big map.
The gulag closes. However, oftentimes with a runaway train, it actually reverts that.
Third circle.
And it closes quicker.
Closing third circle.
At the end of the fourth, it closes at the end of the third. Here are a couple examples in the back where you can see my gulag is showing that it's closing end of third, and then it ends up being a runaway train ending. That is one way to tell with you and your team. If you see that gulag token disappear and you get that influx of money, you might realize, oh crap, we got to rotate early because it's going to be a runaway train ending. We got to get set up. Moving on to advanced tip number 10. This is where you start to get into some of the movement exploits that you only see high level pros using. And some of them you may have seen, but you don't realize the benefit behind them. The very first one is the PRD.
Number 10, y'all. Let's go. Halfway there. Halfway there.
So
we're making it.
If you're unfamiliar with it, it's where you see someone melee right when they hit the PRD. And the benefit behind it is watch. Right underneath my webcam, you'll see that there's the PRD animation. And once that flashes, I want you to watch how long it takes me to actually start ascending. Okay? Flash, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
So you melee.
3.
You slash.
Right? So it takes about 2.5. As opposed to, with the animation cancel, watch, it's almost instantaneous. Flash, 1 minute.
Bang, dog. That's right away. You knife. Without, and then when cancel, also, if you didn't know, before you go up a zip line too, you do the same thing. You knife it. Same thing. Right when you hit the zip line, you knife.
With the animation, flash, boom. Right, so you save yourself about 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds before you actually start climbing up with the PRD. In order to do this, all you need to do, it's very simple, is just simply press your field upgrade. So for me, it's L1, R1, and then immediately after that, press melee. So it's boom, 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 boom.
Same thing when you go up the zip line, y'all.
Easy, and it will save
Same thing when you go up the zip line.
And in a game, you might be like, Isaac, that's not that big of a deal. When we have time to kill of SMGs, that's 600 milliseconds. Half a second, basically. Something like that could save your life. Just your ability to get up and get out quicker and finesse, much like the redeploy drones that we talked about earlier. But let's get on to number 11, which is another movement exploit. For advanced tip number 11, I actually learned this from the Call of Duty League pros, the CDL players. I was watching them play one of the maps, and I saw that they would always melee before they got onto a ladder, and I wondered why. Well, it actually allows them to shoot their guns faster. You'll see when you go up a ladder, I have my STG out, but then I pull out my Core 45, and then I pull out my STG. So, for shorter ladders, what you can do is you can melee, and it will keep your STG out, so that way you can shoot immediately when you get up. Watch the difference here. You'll see I climb, I'm pressing my trigger, and now I'm shooting. Up, shoot. There's a huge delay there. Even if I had someone cracked, I would die. But
that's good tip,
bro.
In
some ladders, in some scenarios, is melee. I messed that up. Is melee,
even though we knew this tip, this is a good tip. Good tip for people that didn't know this.
There's a small delay, but nothing compared to what you were experiencing beforehand. The thing here is that the recon flyovers happen over the areas with the highest population. So what that means is you could go in there, most populated areas of the map. There are 2 of them. Everyone's going to be on an advanced UAV, so in there.
All right, we got to go back here. We got to go back here.
Areas with the on flyover specialist. And then from there, they're also giving
because I just seen Jay God tell us this, but he didn't tell us the most populated area.
Flyovers happen over the areas with the highest population. Advanced tip number 12, the last one of
number
the day.
12, y'all. Number 12, let's go.
Sprint speed affects mantling, but it goes even farther than we've talked about in the past. Now, we've talked about how you can mantle faster if you're sprinting into a mantle, right? So if you're just walking, mantle up.
Okay.
Mantle up.
Takes time. So if you're tag sprinting,
mantle up.
It's a little bit quicker.
Mantle
okay.
Up. It's a little bit faster, but
barely,
it also more significantly affects how fast you can shoot. Check this out. So once again, we'll go up, shoot.
Shoot. Okay.
Up, shoot. If you do it right, and especially on a lot of, you know, these.
If you do it right.
Where maybe you'll have someone crash.
This guy, if you do it right.
Destroying you. If you sprint into it, you can actually avoid that animation altogether and start shooting from the hip as you climb. Check it out. So there would be a regular, or you can get up extremely fast and start shooting from your hip
right away before you
your
aim in.
gun is even visible. So keep that in mind as you climb up onto these rooftops, all these buildings. If you're mantling, even though your gun's not up, if you start to press and hold your L2, R2, you can start shooting from the hip with aim down sight accuracy, even though your gun actually isn't aim down sight, as opposed to that really slow animation. That's gonna get you killed.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that you're
shooting, which will allow
okay, so when you do this, you gotta make sure that your gun's pointed all the way up once you jump to hit the edge of the container. So once you go to jump towards the edge of the container, you want to make sure that your gun's facing all the way up. Bow, and they'll let you do that.
Take the high ground on enemies who aren't expecting it. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the 12 advanced, very advanced on some of these.
That's it, y'all.
Inside
we made it. 12 advanced tips. It was supposed to be 20.
Down below if there's something else.
Hey, we're pausing it right there. That's it, y'all. 12 advanced tips. It was supposed to be 20. He fooled us. It was clickbait. It's your boy. We're out of here. The myth, the legend.
Yo, Creano, this one.